The boy who spent 43 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. The story of Richard Phillips. Imagine spending over 4 decades in prison for something you didn't do. This is the story of Richard Phillips, a man who lost 43 years of his life to a wrongful conviction and came back with unimaginable grace. In 1971, a man was murdered in Detroit. Richard Phillips, just 25 years old, was accused of helping plan the killing, based on the false testimony of a co-defendant who made a deal with prosecutors. Despite no physical evidence and Richard insisting on his innocence, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Richard spent years behind bars, writing letters, appealing his case, and never giving up. For 43 years, he lived in a prison cell. Even after losing his wife, contact with his children, and nearly all hope. Unlike others, he refused to admit guilt, even when it could have led to parole. In 2010, a law student at the University of Michigan Innocence Clinic discovered that his co-defendant had confessed in private years earlier that Richard wasn't involved. That confession had been withheld by prosecutors. After further investigation and new evidence, Richard Phillips was exonerated in 2018, making him the longest-serving wrongfully convicted person in U.S. history to be freed. At 73 years old, Richard was finally free. He began painting to express his journey, selling his art to support himself. He said he held no bitterness. "I don't have time for anger. I have too much life left to live." He received $1.5 million in compensation from the state of Michigan, but no amount of money could ever restore what he lost. Richard Phillips lost 43 years of freedom, but never lost his soul. His story is a reminder of how justice can fail and how the human spirit can endure. Like, share, and subscribe.